Get used to seeing this rather limited camp. This is where we go between every mission in the game. We use the money in this game to gain new moves, skills, equipment, and clothes, and we can grind through previous missions just to gather more money. Nothing too complicated or especially interesting, but still, it's funny how much more I respect a method like this over the EDF series making so many of our games bloody random from one mission to the next. Bit of a shame we can't preview any of the clothes we can buy from here. I'm pretty sure the numbers are just there to convey they changed the color of the thing we'd be grabbing. But it's not like I know if I'll like the color or even the thing we bought in the first place unless you buy it and actually put it on. Well. It's not like we've got all that much to burn money on this early on in the game anyway, so let's ignore that and start our first mission. Right, first mission, here we come. Killing Echegoya is a bit of a running gag for this series. You run into a corrupt merchant with that family name 3 separate times, each time in a different game. You'd think after a point that the family would just stop pulling especially illegal shit. But then I suppose it's hard to learn much of anything when you're dead or when a family member of yours is killed doing it.
そしてありし日の姿を取り戻しつつある東忍流の里から今宵もまた任務へと赴く影がある。 So
this merchant is selling weapons to our potentially hostile neighbors, okay? Nothing outright heinous there. I'm sure those people could get guns and blades from other sources and all that. Still, that's a bit inconvenient for us. I suppose someone else is in charge of making sure our people start gaining those weapons once we've killed the dealer. Wait, blunt swords? I thought you were selling sharpened ones that could really do some damage. If he's selling low-quality gear outside of our territory, I don't see why we need to care all that much and try to stop him. But then it's not like we know how badly mangled from the previous games the clan is right now. Especially since I'm sure that sort of thing is kept pretty vague from game to game. Well, that's certainly a dramatic visual of someone. We'll see if he ends up being relevant in this mission or if he's just going to be a future problem for us. For now, we need to get to the high ground and start picking off the guards. Good to know that the enemy spread their guards out so much. That should make it relatively easy. I wish I could say that the game is taking it easy on us for the first mission of the game, and that later on things are going to get rough around here. But, if I remember correctly, the enemies are generally around this easy to take out for the entire game. Later missions just change up the terrain and the enemy placement for the most part, with very little variety in the kinds of enemies we run into. And aside from bosses and wild animals, everyone dies to stealth attacks the same way. So it's hard to really give a damn about health or damage increases from one guy with a sword to another. Hell, if you know what you're doing, then it's easy to avoid getting into fights out in the open anyway. Part of me kind of wishes the little indicator on the bottom left explicitly told us what direction an enemy we're detecting is. But I suppose just knowing how close we are to them is good enough to put us on edge as the number gets closer to 100. Part of me also kind of wants to ask what that random samurai was doing with a ninja throwing star in his robes. But then I'm highly unlikely to use that tool either way. I'm pretty sure anybody familiar with my playthroughs of the Batman Arkham games has a pretty good idea of my style when it comes to stealth. I stick with the tried and true basics for the most part, not really changing things up too much from encounter to encounter, unless we either have a solid challenge on our hands, or we gain something particularly nice as a tool. And I really don't recall this game giving us any tools as brokenly good as the hookshot from Batman Arkham Origins. Anyway, seems like the guy in the building has some better peripheral vision than I was expecting here. Yeah, that didn't end well for him. Great, now I just had the funny thought of why I've never actually seen a stealth-paced Naruto game, despite the fact that that series revolves around ninjas. There are just way too many clans in that series that are absurdly able to pay attention to their surroundings for the good guys that, frankly, anyone fighting against Konoha had to be absolutely overpowered and brute force their way through, or they were just gonna get stomped. Hell, if the ninjas in the Naruto series did more ninja-style things like in the Tenchu games, with scouting, sabotage, and infiltration, rather than explosive and flashy brawls, I probably would have enjoyed it a hell of a lot more. But then I suppose we'll see over the course of this game, much less the other entries in this series. There's only so much you can do if the main course of action is don't be spotted, do it quietly. Wish I could see whoever it is that's sweeping the floor, or at least who I think is sweeping the floor. Probably a civilian, so it's someone we don't want to kill, but I really want to keep said person in mind as we continue to clear this place. Doubt we'll need the healing item, but hey, it's completely unguarded here. May as well. No harm in snatching it just in case. Poor bastard didn't even have time to react to the sound of our footsteps. Well, that was nearly an embarrassing mistake there. Eesh, I didn't realize that guy wasn't a bit of furniture until we were practically on top of him. Still, my reactions were faster than his. That's got to be worth something. Holy shit, that multi-kill combo thing feels pretty damn nice. Though, it's not a surprise that it wasn't a thing in any of the earlier games as far as I know. Hell, in the older titles, dealing with more than one guy at a time was either asking for an open brawl to start, or a nerve-wracking bit of hoping they wouldn't notice their buddies getting killed right next to them. Whereas here, there's little to no need for your nerves to be racked if there are 2 or 3 guys just standing next to one another. Was kind of hoping to drop on top of him while his buddy was still moving behind us, but I apparently screwed that up. Ah well, it'll be easy to find another opportunity since neither of them noticed us fail to fully drop down there. Oh, I fully deserved to be spotted there, or at least hurt by the fall. Eesh, that was just such an unforgivable miss that could have been so damn nice. It's a good thing we're just considered a grunt as a ninja, not an especially high-ranking one. Part of me wants to try hiding in the doghouse there. I'm not too sure you're actually allowed to stuff yourself in that little hole, though. I'm also a little worried that we might have to deal with a dog since, well, these guys have a doghouse. Ready for one. Dogs aren't anything outright horrific to deal with in this series, but still, it's harder to sneak up on one than it is to sneak up on a person. And a dog noticing us counts the same way as a person doing so. What, not gonna question the door opening for no reason? I certainly know that my first thought would be to at least shut the door, even if I wasn't gonna go investigating it and see why it opened and nobody came through it. But then, I can't remember the last time in a video game that I ended up on guard duty going through an obscenely long period with nothing really happening. Shit, it's a civilian. While we won't outright fail the mission if I kill him as well, personally speaking, I don't like the idea of killing an innocent bystander. We're just here for the man in charge and all of his guards. I wonder why it is that I feel less guilty about attacking guards who are just doing their job than a random guy pacing back and forth for no reason in a random room. Especially since the guards keep occasionally saying Harahita, which, if my limited knowledge of Japanese is right, means they're groaning about being hungry. But no, I have little mercy to spare for the guards, even if I occasionally sympathize or feel sorry for them. I'm sure it's more than just the fact that they're active threats that could try to kill us. After all, I could have gotten to our target and left a lot fewer bodies on the ground with little to no issue. Even if I don't remember this game well enough to know where Echigoya would be off the top of my head. It's a pretty safe bet there's someone in this building. And that does it. The man we came for is nice and stabbed. I'm sure his family is just going to go not again when they find all the dead guards before they find his body. So you only showed up when we were finished, Goemon? Excuse me for expecting more from our partner. Wait, are we seriously zoomed in and not yet? And yet we're not seeing their faces when the rigs for their faces don't allow for us to see their lips move as they speak. What the hell kind of... Excuse me for finding this a bit odd. I certainly know that wasn't an issue in the PS2 games, and this was made for the next console generation. I'm sorry, but I don't count Echigoya as a boss here. Ugh, not when he was just as easy to kill as all the grunts. Right, back to camp, so let's see what we earned from our first mission. Don't see the point in grabbing that if we're gonna keep stabbing people in the back. That's more of a direct action sort of thing. I wouldn't mind the eye upgrade, though. It may not be a Sharingan or Bakugan, but it couldn't hurt to have. I don't think being able to see the enemy's health bar matters if you're killing them in one hit, but again, no real harm in getting it, though apparently I'll be gaining those things in a later clip, if at all. For now, I'm content to just look around at what's available here a little longer before ending the clip, and good God. I certainly hope the little audio edits I did since the previous clip are a little better than the last one. Still don't like how they handle clothes shopping in this game, but maybe games that let you preview outfits before you buy them didn't become a thing when this game was released. And again, this is way more extensive than what we see in EDF, and this is the first and only game in the Tenchu series that lets you customize your character in any way.